day at Bakersfield College, our students are moving toward their goals. Why aren't you with them? Is it cost? Family obligation? Maybe you don't feel prepared for college life. The good news is we're prepared to help you. You have yet to realize how much help and support is waiting for you at Bakersfield College. Learn more now on Equity TV. Good morning. Welcome to Equity TV. I'm Francis Mayer, and this is a production of Bakersfield College and the Bakersfield Californian, two community icons for a real long time. We didn't get to where we are by just mailing stuff in. We've had a dedication to students and a commitment to improving our students and building them into important members of our society. And often we have people come back, people like this person right here. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, I'm pretty good. I'm excited to have you on the show, for one thing. I got to tell you a story about this. This finger, actually, this used to belong to the gentleman who ran the bookstore at Bakersfield College, and he left it behind. And we have an incredible archive that's run by Jerry Ludicky at Bakersfield College, and it will remind you just how deep and far the tradition at Bakersfield College goes. And we'll leave that right here on the desk, but right now I'd like to direct our attention to you. What is your name?
Chelsea Esquibias.
And Chelsea, what do you do?
I work for Goodwill Industries. I'm the director of marketing.
Okay.
And then I serve on a couple of boards in the community. I'm the vice president of Latina Leaders of Kern County. I'm all over the
No, you are. And Chelsea, you are actually one of the 20 under 40 in Bakersfield.com. But at one time, you were just Chelsea from the neighborhood, weren't you?
I was. I would like to think that I'm still pretty
down.
I'm pretty down. I'm down.
Right. But you also weren't a person who was headed for college.
No, school always came very easy to me. I went to Ridgeview High School, home of the Wolfpack. And, in Bakersfield, we're really excited about our alma maters, right?
We are, yes.
And so I went to Ridgeview High School, and I wasn't in a couple of college prep classes, but and I knew college was important, but I wasn't a huge focus.
Oh, did your parents go to college?
No, my parents did not go to college.
So you didn't have anybody at home saying, hey, you're going to do your undergrad here. There's all these words associated with college that when I first went to BC, I didn't know because my dad worked in the mill and my mom was an awesome homemaker, but she didn't get a degree. So I didn't know all these, the Pell Grant, undergrad.
Bog. What is Bog?
Right?
I don't know.
It's a place where I lost my shoes in the 4th grade when I was told not to play in that bog.
I had no clue. I didn't know. My parents had said they used to say that college would take you further or you need to go to college. But what does that mean if you don't know?
Right, and
you don't know how to enroll.
Right, and those are fun things to say, right?
They're great things to say. But to understand what that means is a totally different thing.
Right, and how did you actually find yourself up at Bakersfield College?
So I was at school, and I've never been bad, but I love to have fun or joke around. And so if someone said, let's not go to class, I was the first one that was like, let's not.
You didn't have to be talked into peeking at the presents.
No, I was fine. If you want to go, I'm in. Let's go. So right. I was in trouble. I had gotten in trouble when I was in the office for not going to class. And the counselor there, Mr. Fernandez, who was not my counselor, he was just one of my friend's counselors, brought us in. And when he sat down to talk to us, he enrolled us at BC. And that was, I guess, quote unquote, like our punishment, right? It was that we were going to go to college. And he showed us how to do it. So he didn't just enroll us, but he showed us how to do it too. And he took the time and chose our classes. And he did a really... he took the time to do things for me that I didn't understand and may have not been able to figure out on my own. Maybe I could have, but I wasn't really looking into it.
Right. And how did you feel about going to Bakersfield College? Like, were you looking forward to it?
It was a hit or miss. It was like I had my dream job. I worked at the mall. Life was good. I sold jeans for a living. I had this really rich boyfriend who made like $9, right? And so we were just going to get married and have a great life.
Right, but when you're 18 and $9 an hour, let's just say $10 to $12 an hour in today's economy, hey, I can pay my cell phone bill. I can rent a room.
Yeah.
And that's great when you're 18.
Yeah. You can live, my dream was to live on Ming Avenue so we could watch all the Fast and Furious cars. Well, I had really big dreams. I had big dreams. And I was like, oh, shoot, I guess I should go to BC. And so I went, and it turned out to be the best decision of my life to go to BC. BC took really good care of me. I went in and I met a lot of really awesome faculty, and I took the career development class, the professional development.
Yes.
When you first start, and they showed me how to
student development.
Student development. They took a half credit or credit or something. The best credit or half credit I've ever taken in my life.
Really?
Yeah. Out of all of the colleges that I've gone to, or all the classes I've gone through, it was the best class because it taught me how to make sure I could get through, and it taught me how to choose the right classes and where to go. So it was a really great experience to where I was helping my friends pick classes and choose classes, and how do you graduate, and what is that GETC, and what are these different things that I didn't even know existed prior to that.
And you, though, and I feel like you're hedging just a little bit, you were not, you were just a girl. I mean, you did admit it, that you like to have fun, right? I mean, you didn't, and we're keeping part of the story out right now because you are working on a terminal degree right now.
Yes. So what I did was I went to Bakersfield College, and then I thought, it was enough college for me, and I went in and I started working in payroll for a company, and I saw the difference that I was making because I had an associate's and what would happen if I got a bachelor's. And then I looked at people at a master's, and I thought, I only have to go a couple more years. Shoot, I can do that too. And so because I knew how to choose all my classes and I knew how to do everything, all I really had to do was dedicate myself and my time. I went on and I got my bachelor's degree. And I don't like to do anything small, So if you're going to ditch class, I want to ditch the whole day. Just like if I go to college, I don't want to just, get a degree, And not that it's not fabulous, but I got a bachelor's in business, and I got a concentration in management, an emphasis in HR. And I thought, well, if I'm going to do this, let's just do it right, And then I went on and got my master's, and now I'm almost done with my doctorate. Whoa. So thank you, Mr. Fernandez. Thank you.
But you would consider yourself, and you and I did get a chance to talk before the show, but you consider yourself just a normal girl.
Yeah, just normal.
You don't think you're a genius or anything.
No.
And you're still very young, and you're going to be called doctor soon.
Yeah, and I'm going to use it because I even tell my husband, until it wears off like the excitement for a minute, I want him to call me doctor too. I'm excited about it. And so, no, I wouldn't call myself a genius by any means. I think that school is really about dedication. And when I talk to the youth, because I help run a youth program in town for Latina leaders, and we work with the high schools, and we have about 150 girls total, there are days where you wake up, and I worked full-time the entire way. So the whole time I worked full-time, went to school full-time. There are days that I woke up and I felt like crying because I was tired. Or there were days where I felt like I didn't want to go anymore. And
you were just exhausted.
I was exhausted. And, I don't want to go to school and then get bad grades. I want to get good grades. So if I'm going to do it, I want to do it right. And there are days where you wake up and you're like, shoot, I don't know if I can do this anymore. But the day that you walk across stage, it'll make me cry. So I want to talk about.
No,
the day that you walk across stage, it's all worth it. And so things that were a dream to me became reality. And so when we were talking a little bit previously, I said one of the examples I give, because I run a middle school program as well, a STEM program out at Sunset Middle School, which is a really great school. Is if I want to wake up and go to Disneyland in the morning, I can afford it. And when I'm there, I don't have to pack lunch, know? All these opportunities are just available to you. And it's a little bit mind-blowing because sometimes I'm talking to my husband, who's really wonderful. He's good to me and he supports me in my dreams. When we talk about it, I think the most magical part of it is when someone says that it opens an opportunity, it's like, oh, that's great. And then when you feel the opportunity, it's a totally different thing. It's a different thing that, if you're sick, you can go to the store and then you're not worried about how much the medicine costs. You just buy whatever you need and buy all this extra stuff. And you're like, well, I don't know. I think that might work too. And, the razors are overpriced, but I'm going to get 2 packs,
Yes.
And so you have all of this flexibility that never existed. And, my parents worked hard and, my mom worked really hard, but when I'm going, I don't ever have to and I'm not rich by any means, but I'm not, walking around with a hole in my pants,
Right, and that is the big difference. Like, I think that the economy has changed, and we have to be realistic about that. When my dad graduated from high school, he went straight to Simpson Timber Company with his high school diploma, and that was his ticket to ride.
Yeah.
And right away, he made the equivalent of like, I think like $40,000 a year right out of high school. That in today's dollars, and that was enough money for him to rent an apartment and get a truck, which is huge stuff when you're 18.
Exactly.
But the thing is you don't advance much past that. You kind of peak out early, and I think when you get an education, and by the way, if you want any kind of a pay over $12 an hour now, you're going to have to get a degree, and you have reached that salary space where you can afford to do what you want to do and not worry so much about it. And it isn't about being wealthy, but it's about not being broke and living hand to mouth and having access to those opportunities that education gave you. How do your parents feel about your success?
Oh, they're thrilled. They're walking on water. Someone shared with me not too long ago, a close friend, and they said that one of the only things your parents really want deep down is to know that if something happened to them, you could take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And so I think that really resonated with me because I don't have to ask my parents for anything. I don't ever have to call them for any needs, unless I want to talk to them. And I think that puts them at ease because they know if, God forbid, something happened one day, that they know I would be fine.
Right.
I would be fine.
And that's something to point out to some of our students who might feel like they need to help their family now. Like you said, well, it's only a couple more years to get a master's. And once you finish your doctorate, you're done with school forever.
Yeah.
And for the rest of your life, you can just work towards making money. And if there is someone out there watching who says, well, like, I don't want to put my family through the financial hardship of college, it's better to just rip the Band-Aid off quickly. Deal with the financial hardship like you said. There were many days where you woke up and you were almost in tears. I don't want to get out of bed today. This sucks. I'm exhausted. But now you're laughing.
Exactly.
And you're smiling.
Exactly. And if you think about, I went to a class one day and they did an exercise with me and they said, can you tell me the worst day of February 2001? And you're like, no, I have no clue. I don't even know what happened that year, And it's the same thing, so in those days where a day is really hard, that day is really important to you because you're like, God, it's such a rough day. And you look back 5 or 6 years or 2 years, you have no clue that day even happened.
Oh, wow.
Like the day's just gone. You don't even know it existed.
Right.
But when I look back at a photo album and I'm like, man, it was so cool to go to Hawaii. And it was so cool to eat at all these awesome restaurants I dreamt about, That's just something you'll remember.
Absolutely.
And so for the people who are worried about the financial hardship and the financial burden in the moment, I get it. School BC is affordable, but I know to continue on, it is difficult. But that's a very minor thing in the scheme of things. It is such a minor piece of the puzzle.
Absolutely. We just finished paying off my wife's student loans, and I'd be honest with you, it was worth every penny.
Yeah.
We're going to Disneyland soon ourselves.
Oh,
but
that's
Chelsea, I'm really glad to hear that you have made your future into a Disneyland by hard work through college, and you've inspired me to go back to school and get another degree, and I'll let you know how that goes.
Awesome.
As will the pigeon. Chelsea,
I really love him.
Yeah. I know, he's charming. Thank you so much for being on the show. Coming up next, we have more folks who are going to inspire you, hopefully like Chelsea did. People who show that you too can change your life through college attendance, even if you don't necessarily come from a family that's educationally inclined or have the money on hand right away to pay for it. There are solutions, but you won't find them until you head up to the hill at Bakersfield College. We'll be right back with more Equity TV after this.